Hello, everyone. This is Ferrante Frazier with another episode of Naturalist F. We want to thank the ATR Media. We want you to go there, all things relevant media, and like and share and become a support system to help us continuously bring education to our listeners and our viewers. Today, we got an excellent show. We're going to be talking about poison. There's poison all around us, and the best way for us to avoid, going into disease is to stay away from poison. Poison is what kills us, and the poison is just not. We're not conscious of the poison. We're not aware of the poison that we're indulging. In the cell in the laboratory, it tells us that poison, a cell can only die from three different situations. If it's starved to death, if it's poisoned, or if it's caused, strict harm done to it, like a blunt force trauma. So it's three ways that you can kill a cell. Otherwise, a cell is supposed to possess eternal life. It can go on living indefinitely, splitting and dividing and repairing and developing another cell of its own. It's supposed to go on doing that, provided that the conditions warrant it to do so. It got to make sure that it's not poison, and it's got to make sure that it getting the right food, and it got to make sure that it's protected from violence. All right, so no violence. You got to make sure that there's no poison, and they got to make sure that there's proper food for it, and it will go on living indefinitely. So our cells and tissues are our body is a got like millions and trillions of cells in there, and each one of those cells, they abide by that same theory of the cell. It goes that same law of the cell applied to all the trillion cells that are in our body. So this means that our cells can go on living indefinitely, provided that they're not poisoned, provided that they're provided with the right food source, and that they are kept from violence. But in our world today, violence takes our body by storm. Violence is taking our body by storm. I mean, it's everywhere in the form of poison. So we're violent to ourselves by what we're eating, the food source. We're not properly feeding it. So we're defying the law of the cell in all three categories. We're not eating proper food and feeding the cell. We're poisoning the cell with what we're eating and bringing around it, and we're causing harm to it, violence. And this is why we're suffering and dying off prematurely, because we are violating the law of the cell all around. Now, in the laboratory, in the cell, the scientist goes and he gets his little beaker and or his culture, and he got this little fluid in there, and he got the cell dingling in there, and he puts the food in the fluid, and he got to constantly clean that fluid of waste material and that fluid, and he got to put new fluid in there. And in that fluid, he got to put the food in there where the cell can get the food. And he had to protect it. He can't just be shaking it all over the place and leaving it all out. And he had to protect it. He can't just leave it in the heat, or he can't leave it in some really cold weather. So he had to protect it. So he's protecting the cell, and the cell goes on growing in the laboratory indefinitely. Now, our laboratory is called the organism. And the fluid that bathe the cells and bring fluid to the cells is the blood and lymph fluids. So we have to make sure that those things stay clean. We got to make sure that those things are pure. And we got to make sure that we're sending proper ingredients to the cells. We have to protect the cells from violence. And this is what we're going to talk about in this lesson about poison. We're going to talk about the food that is poisoning us. That food is poison. In the words of our old song, that girl is poison, she's dangerous. Well, that food is poison. It's dangerous. But there's no danger stick on it, no crossbone. A lot of the food that we're getting out of the grocery store today should have the skull and the crossbones on it. It's dangerous. It's toxic waste material. But it's going by the pretense that it's food. Not only that, our drinks, our sodas, our coffees, our teas. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. You mean to tell me tea is poison? They don't want to hear that teas are poisonous. Matter of fact, the more of the community is believing that tea is a herb, a remedy to help you correct your health issues. You mean you've got detox teas? What you mean? What you talking about? Tea is toxic. The lavender tea and all this type of stuff. Stuff poisonous, you know. But not to our understanding, and not to those who are pushing the tea, those who have interest in the tea, and those who just lack knowledge of proper ways of correcting health issue, that the body heals itself. That there's no medicine, no herb, no remedy, no treatment, no concoction that can cause health to the body, except for the body being full of energy and correcting its own health issues, provided that the issue is removed, the harm, the damage that is attacking the body is stopped. And we're attacking our own body and what we're eating, what we're drinking. The poisonous area around us, not just in our eating and drinking, but he's also in our bathing and also in our water, our air supply, and all these different things. We have toxins around us that are unaware. We don't realize that they're toxins. Some of them go as healthy things. Some of them go on as being necessary and normal. It's so normal that we don't see that it is aiding in our early death. It's aiding in our pain and suffering. But we don't connect the dots because it's so natural. We've been doing it so long that we don't see the connection. Now, before we go into that, I just want to share something with you. A lot of y'all know that there's been a bunch of recall on things. Right now, if you go to the CDC, Centers for Disease, that's what the CDC is. You can look it up right now. Go up there, and they got a Salmonella outbreak linked to frozen cooked shrimp. And they're telling you that 6 people have done died from it. 2 people have been, they said no death. They said 6 illnesses and 2 hospitalizations. It's in 2 states right now. They say they recalled it. Now, they've actually recalled, because this is a food safety alert. They say in frozen cooked shrimp, there's been a salmonella outbreak. Right? Now, in another area, just before that, and they didn't do no recall on it, they said it was an outbreak in chicken, frozen chicken. I know most of y'all don't really hear none of this stuff, This is not on the mainstream that much because, it's going to affect you going out there buying food. It's going to affect your ability to go out there and purchase these toxic things. And they don't want to stop that, If you find out that Coca-Cola was killing people and they recall it or put it out there on the food safety alert that Coca-Cola has been killing folks, causing people to have kidney disease and causing irritation to the liver and burning the digestive tract from the carbonated water and stuff like that, then who would drink it? Would you still indulge in it? Would a crackhead still know that crack is bad and he still indulge in it? So poison, just because we know it's poison, don't make us want to stop. And I think most of the medical people know this, and most of the authorities, they know this. But at the same time, they don't want to go out of business teaching this type of stuff. See, we get deaf ears a lot because we don't silence ourselves to the truth. We teach it in season when people want to hear it, and we teach it out of season when people don't want to hear it. We don't care. The truth is the truth, and the truth gonna stand. But they don't believe that you can change. They don't have faith that you're willing to eat fresh fruits and vegetables. They don't believe that you can go days without eating flesh foods and go without eating, toxic meals, go without your Coca-Cola, go without your teas, and go without your remedies and your medicines and all your other toxic substances that we have made for ourselves. They don't have the faith to believe that we can do this, so they make money off us, off our ignorance, off our inability to even be aware that we're poisoning ourselves. According to our religious advisors taught us to mistrust our instincts. A lot of us, we don't rely on our natural instincts anymore. We got a physical conscious that wars us off when we're coming into danger. But a lot of us don't know how to realize that danger anymore. We don't know when it's like the average person don't know when they're walking into a fire because they don't feel the heat anymore. Or going out into the cold, they're unaware, so they freeze to death. They go out into the heat and they're burned to death because they don't have feeling anymore. That's losing your natural instinct to heat, your natural instinct to cold. But some of us have lost our natural instinct to poison. Now, the body has a system to protect itself from damage. And that's that physical conscious. Just like some of us have the spiritual conscious that don't lead us into following evil situations or following sinister forces. It's like that thing that said, I wouldn't do that if I was you. That angel that's sitting up there on your right side, that's a good conscience. Then you have the bad conscience on the other side telling you, man, everybody's doing it. One time ain't gonna hurt you. But then that other conscience over here saying, I wouldn't do that if I was you. Same thing with the physical conscious as well. The first thing that tells you, I wouldn't do that if I was you, is the smell, the repulsive smell from things that are not wholesome. It's not pleasing to the nose. It's not pleasing to the eyes. It's not pleasing to the taste upon first observation, upon the first time taking it. It's irritating. But when you constantly keep on using the substance over and over and over and over, then your body tends to build up a tolerance. Not only do it build up a tolerance, it even starts to crave the substance, the poison. Once the poison used to be intolerable. Now, I imagine when I was young, I used to dibble and dabble with tobacco. I used to dibble and dabble in drinking my uncle them alcohols when they would leave. I'd take a little sip, just playing, because we saw them doing it. We saw them sitting there smoking. We saw them sitting there drinking. And we would indulge in it. We want to be grown. You know how it is. We're following our elders. The first smoke I inhaled and I started coughing uncontrollably. And it made me sick. My head hurt. It tastes nasty in my mouth. I drank and it made me throw up. It caused me to have nauseous feelings all in my stomach, a rumbling and knots tumbled. It called a quick diarrhea, even threw up some stuff. I remember this one time when I was in high school. Me and some friends call ourselves skipping. And I was going to Beach High School. And we left out, and it was three of us. And we stopped to a store and we got us some 6-packs of beer. And I ain't drink beer. But to be cool with my homeboys, I'm sitting there and I'm drinking, right? It's nasty. I don't know. It didn't taste good. But the thing was to hurry up and down it where you can get a buzz. It's nasty, but it's going to give you a buzz. So I'm down in this beer. I done down 6 packs, a 6-pack, 6 beers. And I mean, talking about somebody was early. I was early, all over myself. And I still had to go back to school. I'm in class. They can smell it all over me. They're looking at me crazy. I can't function properly. No, that wouldn't have happened if I drank water. The more violent the poison is, the more violent the reaction that it takes on the body. And the body has to recover. Now, we can look at the most violent poison there is known to mankind a little bit, which is morphine in the vegetable kingdom. And we see that it not only causes more damage to the individual and gets them out of their mind, but it also creates the biggest craving. Yeah, people are addicted to cocaine, but not like heroin addicts addicted to heroin. And yeah, people are addicted to weed, but not like they are addicted to cocaine. And yeah, people are addicted to weed, but not like they are to, tea and coffee. And that would be a toss up. But certain toxins are more damaging and more poisonous. And the more poisonous the toxins is, the more hold and grip it have over us. That creates a craving that we cannot let go of. Matter of fact, we want more of it, even though we're seeing ourselves dying. And oftentimes we can't see ourselves dying because our mind is solely on getting more of the poison. According to Dr. Herbert Shelton, we see that poisons are sold in every area of our lives. It's all around us. The government itself, cities and men and corporations are selling poisons to people, giving poisons to people. It's a way of life. It's a way of business, in other words. In this business, you find in drugstores, you find them at tobacco stands, you find them in the liquor stores. We have no business selling liquor to people. If somebody wants liquor, let them make it themselves. It shouldn't be so easy. You see less people indulging in these things. Let them go out there and grow their own tobacco. Let them roll up their own tobacco. You see less people walking around here smoking. Let people go out there and kill their own chickens. Wring them necks. Let them go out there and cut them tails off the pig. Let them cut them feet off the pig. Watch them walk around in that mud and stamp all over everywhere with them feet that they're about to eat. Let them squeeze that dung up out of that digestive tract, that chitlin. Let them indulge in their habit themselves. Even if they're unwilling to stop all the way, it won't be done every day, I tell you that. But if everyone had to do it themselves, it'd be less of that doing. But almost every tribe on the earth have some form of alcoholic poisoning. There's poison all around us, people. But just about everywhere you go, there's some type of poison. I'm going to share something that I read on a site. Let me find it. On this site, it was actually telling us that most of our alcohol have been, created over a period of time, and that most of them alcoholic beverages were once medications. Even gin. Gin was a medication before it became an alcoholic beverage that we enjoy for leisure now. Mostly all the poisons that we inhabit in our life was once some form of herb or remedy or some type of medication, something from the shaman priest, like even salt. Salt is one of the poisons that we have in our, pantry. We have it sitting right there on the table, straight poison. Now, a lot of people don't believe that salt is poisonous, right? But if we can easily look up and see that salt is a protoplasmic poison that is not only can dehydrate your body, but it does. And it's used to commit suicide. People in China do it all the time, and maybe other places out throughout the world. They would get them a glass of water and they'd dump a whole bunch of salt in there and mix it up. And they would drink it. And it would start dehydrating them because salt dehydrates. That's how you cure meat. That's how you pull water out of things, is by throwing salt down on it. The salt draws the water out of it. So imagine when you're eating a bunch of salt and you're ingesting a bunch of salt, you're dehydrating the body because the salt is drying out the body. It's drying out the cells. Now the cells have to be permeable. They got to be in a water solution. But if you're drawing out all the solution, the cells are now dry. They don't have nothing to bathe in. So it's causing damage to the cells. It goes into the cell and actually draw out all the water of the cell. It dries the cell. A dry cell is a dead cell. Pepper. We got pepper on our table. A lot of us don't realize that pepper is just as toxic as alcohol. It destroys liver function in individuals just as fast as alcohol would do, or faster. Because a lot of us love that pepper. We keep shaking it on everything. We shake it on everything. That black pepper is something serious. We put it in our grits. We put it on all our meats and different things of that nature. We put it on all kinds of different things. We put it on our vegetables. Some of us even put it on our fruits, like how we do salt. So poison is always around us. We're always ingesting poison. But the first taste of every poison is bitter. It's repulsive. The body is telling you, hey, I wouldn't do that if I was you. Right? Poison's around us. All right? The way we're eating food that is unhealthy. It's repulsive when we start eating it. We watch the kids before they start eating it. It is repulsive to them, but if you keep feeding it to them, they eventually eat that stuff. But at first, they don't want that mess. You give a child tobacco and see what happened to them. You give a child alcohol and see if they be like, oh, one more. No. Yeah. It's causing them issues. But that's a clean physical conscience. Watch the person who go out with you and they don't drink or anything like that, and they tend to go drink. Their body start reacting quicker to it. They start feeling nauseous. They start becoming delirious. The excessive urinating, the body is trying to free itself of the poison. All this going on. And then to think about it the next day when they have to recover. That's another thing we have to look at. To recover from something, meaning that it was poisonous. The excitation you get from it right then is stimulation. The drug or poison occasions energy to neutralize it. So you stimulate an organ and more blood comes there to dilute that poison. There's more blood in that area. So the organ that got more blood in it operates more. Let's look at, for example, the brain. We tend to want to, use drugs to stimulate the mind. So to stimulate the mind, we got to irritate it. Stimulation is irritation. We got to poison our brain to cause a irritation. That irritation is destructive to the cells. So the body sends blood there to dilute and wash away the irritating substances. But since extra blood is flowing into that area, that means extra activity is going on in that area. So we get, more function, more thoughts, more creativity. But once the irritation is neutralized and the blood is no longer necessary in that area and need to go to another area, now we are without blood, and now it's the area need even more rest. So now we're going to be in a state of low creativity, low functioning for even a more longer time now. So the depression that follows the use of poisons is a toxic situation, is more depressing. It puts us in a worse situation. And if we go back and use it to bring us back up and cause more blood flow there, then we go on a seesaw. Drainage, more blood. Take the drug, back up. Neutralize, take the drug, back up. It's neutralized. Take the drug, it's back up. It's like we're on a seesaw. But the depression that comes from the constant use of a substance eventually get it to where we're up, then we come down, we stay down, and even when we use the drug, we come up just a little bit. Even the same amount, it don't bring us all the way up no more. But then we use more to push it on up, so we become even more dependent on the drug or the poison. And not just drugs like we see in the regular drugs. We talking about salt. Salt, we start off with needing a little salt. Then we got 2 tablespoons of salt in that thing. The next thing, we got 3. We dumping a whole box of salt in our food. Just like with the sugar. We start off, can taste the sugar in the Kool-Aid, but eventually over a while, we got to have syrup poured in our Kool-Aid. This is when we're having the depression, and it requires more of the poisonous substance to get the same effect that we had in the beginning. So now we're creating a craving because we need that stimulation, because we don't like the aches and pains that we're getting from the depressed state. Because when we're in a depressed state, we're paining, we don't feel right, we headaches and all type of withdrawal symptoms that we're suffering from. It's like Danny's Inferno, and we don't like to be in that state, so we go back to the drug to get back to where we want to be at. But then we start coming back down, and we need more of the drug, coming back down, more of the drug, coming back down, staying down to the point where we can't get up no more. To get another effect, we need another drug. We need another poison. That poison has been accommodated. It's been tolerated. It's no longer the body is not going to waste any more energy dealing with this poison. So the tissue is going to be without power no matter what. But you introduce a new drug, it starts all over again. But in today's society, we are indulging in all types of drugs at the same time. Drugs that we're ingesting as drink, drugs that we're ingesting as food. Now, each one of these foods got different additives from different manufacturing plants. So we're on a variety of different poisons, additives, and preservatives, and colors and dyes and different things of that nature. Same thing with the drinks. These drinks have different concoctions, different ingredients in there. These ingredients are poisons. Nothing in those things is wholesome, natural, you know, except for probably the water that they use to start off with. And who to know if they use clean water? Usually when they say that they're using filtered water, that's when you know it was maybe a cleaner water. But the average person just say just some carbonated water. Who knows where they got that water from? It could have been from the normal water source. And we did a whole, show on the you'll say the quality of our tap water. If you just go back a couple of shows, you'll see the quality of tap water and how toxic that water is coming out of our faucet. The chemical poisons that they dump into the water, and it comes out of our faucet for us to drink. It comes out of our bathtub for us to bathe in, and it's coming through pipes that have, when the last time they've been cleaned or when they've been changed. Matter of fact, they run toxins through the water to clean it to come out of our tap. They're chemical poisons. But they say if they don't give you that much, it ain't gonna hurt you. But we've been on this stuff for quite a long time. We've been drinking from the tap for quite a long time. We've been bathing in the tap for quite a long time. If we see that it's leaving rims in our toilets, that means that that's unclean water. And here it is, we're indulging in it. We're drinking in it. We're eating in it. Because we're cooking our food with this stuff. We fill up our pot with water and cook rice. We fill up our pot and cook our greens. We wash our greens. We wash our vegetables in this toxic waste. Not only that, we breathe in air that is toxic. Toxins in the air in the form of, it smells good in here. It smells good. It smells like cherry blossom, fragrance, springtime. Because you got Febreze in your vents. You got air wicks attached to your sockets. You just got cans of spray spraying out all through the house. You got bleach. You got Fabuloso burning on the stove. You got Pine Sol all over the wood and all over the floor, the vinyl. You got all type of air stuff all over the place. You're shampooing your carpets, and you're shampooing your seats and different upholsteries with fragrances. So the house is polluted with air fragrances. No fresh air, nothing but chemicals. Those fragrances are chemicals. And we're ingesting them. And we're wondering why we're going to the doctor with upper respiratory diseases. We're wondering why the kids are suffering from asthma and sinuses and all type of other allergic reactions that's draining from their eyes and nose and ears and mouth. We're wondering why they're having skin reactions. It's from the poison. We're in a poisonous environment unknowingly because it's normal. It's normal to eat toxic foods, to go to McDonald's, because McDonald's is seen as food now. Now, back in the days, McDonald's was some type of treat. The people knew that that food wasn't real food and that it wasn't wholesome. But now, the mothers of the day, they believe that's dinner. They believe a Happy Meal is healthy food. A hamburger. They believe that that's balance. A hamburger, French fries. Oh, they got apple slices, or applesauce, or apple juice. And they call that healthy. Or they think that that is wholesome food. And if they're not eating that for breakfast, they got the cereal. Milk and dried, crispy, sugary flakes. Or some other corn stuff. This is what we're feeding them and saying it's wholesome, son. The rats don't even want it. The roaches won't even eat them. The ants don't even want them. But we're feeding it to our kids. It was showing that even a lot of those McDonald's fries and all that stuff can outdo a lot of other stuff. It don't break down. So much preservative and additives have been poured into that food that the animals won't even come and decay the food like they would do natural food. They'll be on that thing as soon as it hit the ground. Let the apple fall, and the animals will be on it left and right, pouncing on it. It'd be a skeleton in no time. It won't last no 5 and 6 and 10 years. No. Thing will decay into the ground. That's real food. With no preservatives. But we have to pay attention to the poisons that are in our lives. The drinks, the food, the air. These are the things that we talk about when we talk about the 10 ways of health. It's always going to come back to that. We just go in depth and teaching you some common things around you. We look at, the medicines that we're getting from our doctors. All medicines are poisons. There is no medicine that is of any value and that cannot be called a poison. All medicine is a poison. It's going to poison the person who takes it. The amount of the poison that they take. How can morphine be bad for a person if it's not prescribed and be good if it's prescribed? Poison cannot be good for a sick person if it'll make a well person sick. You give morphine to a sick person in hopes to make them well. But you give it to a well person, it makes them sick. How can morphine have that type of value? How can any medicine that would make a well man sick, make a sick man well? Shouldn't it make the well man weller? Shouldn't it make the strong man stronger? If it have any curative value, if it have any strengthening value, then it should make the strong man stronger. If it can strengthen the weak, it should make even stronger the strong. But we see that's not true. Why do the sick man can tolerate more poison than the well man? Because the well man has vitality to reject it. Look at the alcoholic. A new drinker cannot tolerate as much alcohol as someone who's been drinking all their life. That joker can drink a gallon. He can drink you up under the table before he start regurgitating, before he start sweating, before he start having excessive urination. His body can tolerate more of the poison. Now, is it because he's strong? Or is it because his constitution, his vitality is lowered and it has no reaction like the the person who is there for the first time drinker. They have plenty of vitality because it hasn't been squandered away in protecting and throwing off these toxins throughout the years. It has nothing to do with the real strength of the person because a muscle man can get. I done seen muscle bound people, big, strong muscle bound people get more drunk quicker than a skinny person. Skinny person can outdrink the big person in certain instances, especially if that skinnier person has been indulging, in this alcoholic substance for long periods of time. So we see that it has nothing to do with that type of strength. It's the vitality, the energy within that person. Has it been squandered away on poison? Or is it that the person has high vitality to have a physical conscious? This is how you can see what I'm talking about. Your accustomed poison, stay away from it for 7 days. If you love salt, stay away from salt. First of all, you're going to have withdrawal symptoms. You're going to have the gnawing sensation. You're going to have the headaches and all this type of stuff. And it's only going to be relieved if you go back to your substance right then. But if you stay away from it for a time's time, when you go back to it, you're not going to be able to take it in that same amount that you were accustomed to taking it in. Your vitality is going to come up. Your ability to tolerate it is going to be lowered. Well, it's not going to allow it to be tolerated that much now, where it was tolerating it. So not being able to tolerate it is rejection. It's going to react quicker and tell you, I wouldn't do that if I was you. It's going to be repulsive. You're going to lose the craving for it once you beat the withdrawal and go through the withdrawal. And this is with all poison. Even when you take out those air wicks and take out those and stop burning that fabuloso and get rid of all them other air toxics out of your environment and start breathing fresh air, your body's going to go through a period of healing, withdrawal. You might look at it as like, oh God, I'm feeling terrible. Oh God, I'm feeling, but your body is just rebalancing itself. It's now have a breath of fresh air. It's relieved from all the poisons that was surrounding it. Poisons is in everything. We have to be aware of those poisons and remove those poisons out of our life. It's in our food. It's in our drink. It's in our air. It's all around us. We just have to remove it. We have the ability to have control of the poisons that we do have control over. And the ideal thing is to neutralize them, get them out of our lives, and start living more hygienically. Start living more purely. And the only way you can do that is by cleaning up your environment. The ways of health, we talk about them every week. The ways of health, the 10 ways. And matter of fact, we have these books. This book right here, Natural Health Program. It's a certified health study where it got different sections that teach you about holistic health. It got a section on detoxing, how to properly detox. It got a section on fasting. It got a section on the laws of life, how I'm talking about the law of toleration today. It breaks that stuff down to you. It also talks about, hey, Mr. Mike, everything you teach makes perfect sense. We just have to realize that it is to help prolong our lives. Most indeed. Everything that we teach is for, you to create that longevity and their preservation and the like. So thank you for that comment. But we also have the nature of disease in here, and we have the cause of disease, and we also have some other. We have these books as well that we're teaching from, the 10 ways of health that you always hear us talking about. They're available. You can contact us at 912-227-9335. Email us at savannahnaturalhealth@gmail.com, and we can send these to you. Doesn't matter where you're at. You know, the mail people, they run continuously. You know, we can send it via UPS, the United Parcel System, whoever. We can get it to you, you know, or we can even have you order it off of Amazon. All right. So best of health and happiness when you start bringing this information into your life. And we want you to, we got another book as well. It's called The Writing and Essays. We have that available. It's good to have you some literature that can help you when during the week when we're not up here talking, and you can identify with our teachings because you're reading the literature. You're reading about natural hygiene. You're being exposed to it. You're taking the quizzes and stuff like that that are behind some of our lessons to help, you know, solidify the information and make sure that you're programmed with it. It's all about programming your mind. Your mind follow, or your behavior follow whatever your mind said. And your mind says what it's programmed to say. And if that programming is toxic, then your behavior is going to mimic that toxic or reflect that toxicity. If your programming is, you'll say, correct living habits and proper, then you're going to reflect that proper lifestyle habits. And then you're going to see health. It just got to be programmed in your mind. Anything in repetition, you do it over and over and over and over and over and over. That's how I learned this thing. I took years and years of college to study this stuff. And I didn't get it from the first class I took. Even when I had my bachelor's degree in holistic health and science and stuff, I didn't have it to this extent. I knew about, you know, the ways of health, and I knew how to build a diet and stuff like that. But digging into the biology of the cell and the symbiotic relationship that the body have and the evolution of disease and stuff came later on. And the ability to teach it and share it with other people came even further along when we were studying for our doctorate. So it's repetition. We just stayed disciplined, and we just kept learning, and we kept learning, and we're asking you to do the same thing. Don't let the show stop at 7 o'clock. Don't let the information and your willingness to want to live right stop at 7 o'clock and pick back up next Tuesday at 6 o'clock. We want you to carry our teachings into your week, carry it into your lives, carry it into your jobs, and apply the conditions for health: fresh air, sunlight, pure clean water, ideal food, get rest and relaxation, stay away from toxic people, keep the will to live, forgive everybody everything, keep temperance in your life, have some moderate exercise, keep clean internally and externally. These things are going to really help you if you really want to get the health, people. But you got to carry it into your life. Right now, let's do a little meditation as we usually always, we started doing the other day. And I want you to just go back to the breathing that we did. And for those who are up here for the first time, we want to share a little breathing technique with you where you breathe in through your nose and then you exhale out through your mouth. You can close your eyes or keep your eyes open. But to me, I like to keep my eyes closed. I can imagine better with my eyes closed. And you'll be able to imagine as well, provided that you're not driving listening to me right now. If you're in a place that you can just sit still and just take a second and breathe out through your mouth, in through your nose, and out through your mouth. in through your nose and then out through your mouth. And you want to be slow with it. You don't want to breathe too fast. Some people I have doing this breathing exercise, they be like, I'm not wanting you to do that. I just want you to slow your breathing down, but in through the nose and out through the mouth. And when you're ready, you can close your eyes and start breathing in and out through your mouth. Slow and long, in and out through your mouth. Now, when you're by yourself, you can say what I'm saying in and out through your mouth. Sometimes we count in one, out one, in two, out two, in three, out three, in four. If you notice that the breathing is slowing down as we're doing it, we're slowing down the breathing down slowly as we constantly breathe in. The breath is breathing in more, and then we're breathing out. It's taking longer to breathe all the air out because we're breathing it out, all the air, out of our bottom part of our stomach, out of our chest. As we're breathing in, we're blowing up our stomach and our chest. And then we breathe out of our stomach and then out of our chest. That's how I'm breathing longer because I'm emptying all of my lungs when I'm breathing out. I'm bringing in my stomach and then I'm bringing in my chest, deflating it. That's what you call diaphragmatic breathing. And then when you breathe in, you fill up your stomach first and then you fill up your chest. You're filling up the whole lung. And then you're breathing out the stomach and then the chest. And then you breathe back in through the nose and then out through the mouth. In and out. Now, this is just a little guided imagery. I want you to, with your eyes closed while you're breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, just allow yourself to relax. Just let yourself just relax. Just allow every cell and tissue in your body to just relax. Let all your muscles just droop low. Your head relax, your shoulders relax, your arms relax, your chest relax, your waist relax, your legs are relaxed, and your feet. Just allow the relaxation to go from your head all the way down to your toes. You're instantaneously allowing yourself to become more relaxed than you ever been. Allow yourself to relax and breathe in this fresh, odorless air that causes your body to become more relaxed. The more you breathe it in, you're expelling toxic waste, toxic thoughts, toxic emotions. Every time you breathe out, you breathe in this odorless, comforting air stream that's causing your body to be 100 times more relaxed than it's ever been. And as you constantly keep doing that, I want you to envision a white light coming through your body, cleaning out every darkness, every substance that is unnecessary, abnormal, and unneeded, that causes trouble, that causes pain, that causes suffering. The white light is transmuting all the pain, all the suffering. Let the white light flow through your body. As you breathe in, the white light is going down from your head, it's in your face, saturating your arms, your shoulders, saturating all through your chest, all through your stomach. The white light is illuminating through your waist. It's going down into your thighs and your knees. It's in your feet. And just let the white light just permeate throughout your body and just glow. Just see yourself in a white light as you breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And if you want to continuously do this breathing exercise, this is just a little simple form of meditation. It's quite beneficial to do it in the morning when you're waking up and do it in the evening when you're going to sleep. It will slow down your thoughts. It will help you get restful sleep if you constantly just relax your muscles and tell them it's time to take a break. Just breathe in. And I want to thank everybody because we're running out of time. All the comments we have, I didn't have a chance to read them. But I want to thank all y'all for, posting your comments. I want to thank every last one of y'all for constantly supporting us by, coming here and listening to us. I want to make sure Mr. Julius them keep me up here. So I need to make sure I keep a lot of views up here. And if you're in Port Wentworth and you're looking for a change in atmosphere with our leaders, you definitely want to vote for Mr. Julius Hall, because he's going to bring change to our community. I'm in that community, so I want to advocate those who I believe who's going to do a better, thing in our community than those that are in place now. We'll see a big difference because I see the trauma and the pain that's going on in our world. And for that to change, we need leaders who are righteous and those who want to see communion in our, communities and want to see, that common love in our community. So with that being said, if you're in Port Wentworth area, make sure that you vote Julius Hall for mayor in the upcoming election. And I want to thank everyone. I thank you so much. I love you so much for tuning in and giving me your undivided attention to listen and hear the teachings of natural hygiene. This has been your holistic coach, Ferrante Frazier. I want to see you next week, same time, same place, 6 p.m. Tell a friend. Bring a friend with you. Bring a friend. Best of health and happiness. See you next week.